So we had the 3-5-2. So 3 defenders, defensive midfielder, 2 attacking midfielders, a left, a right, and 2 strikers. Do you want to go through what went wrong a few times?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the weekend?
Yeah.
So we were getting beaten around the wings around here quite a bit. And then if these players were both marking up, we seem to struggle with that concept as defenders. So what should happen is these guys should stay a bit close together and slide across as a unit. So then we end up going man to the man then. Whereas what we kind of did was this play'd come out and then that'd leave a space in there. The other thing we did a lot of was that, it might have been part of my explanation as well, was that 2 of these players should be marking. And I gave that really specific instruction. And then what happened was, so I had Lisa here, which is pretty much the instruction I gave her was, hey, make sure you're marking the player. Her player would start here, but then come out. As they came out, what I should have said is, you guys still stay as a line, you move as a line wherever. So what she did then was exactly what I said to do, was follow that player out, which left massive big holes right here, right in front of our goal.
Yeah.
Which then these guys are closed, but then they'd pass it in out and they'd shoot quite happily from distance. So we did concede about 3 of our goals from that. Yeah. It does.
From your instruction.
Well. We just cut that. No, I did change it up. So I changed it up a bit, and I think I put you as one of the backs, Dusty in the middle, and Chris on the right. Then I put Lisa in that defensive midfield. I think she did really, really well there.
Yeah.
We still didn't have this line set and been able to move as a whole. It's almost like, what's that, the foosball tables?
Yeah.
Where you have those 3 people or 4 people and you slide them along to defend and to attack. That's almost like what we've got to think of this as.
And then if that line slides,
Yeah.
then should that winger come back? Because then there's a big gap.
Well, it depends. So, say we'll give ourselves a bit more space. The most important player that we want to defend is the player with the ball. Alright, so if the player with the ball is out here, yeah, we do want to slide. Now the second most important player is the next player closest to them. So they might be standing here. So we need to slide across and start to close that down. Now if they do have a player over here and they can ping a ball from there over to there, we'll also have time as a team to be able to slide and cover that too.
Yeah.
But
So you're not too worried about a loose player on that other wing.
Yeah, no, and I'm not, and I probably wouldn't be. I'll let this player drop back and cover them, but I'm not as worried about them.
Yeah.
Even in Premier League and stuff, they'll often leave a player at the back and just let them do their thing, and they'll slide across if need be.
Yeah.
They won't. The main problem is the player with the ball and the ones that are next closest in that. Yeah. Even to the extent of, in this formation, if they're coming down the side, this player doesn't have to park out here either. We can all slide and close that area down and push them towards the sideline. That's the whole aim.
That's what we don't do. Because I ended up sitting on the corner of the 18 yard, like within pretty
As
much where
in
that dot is. You're there.
Here?
Not there.
Sorry.
Where it was. Yeah.
There?
I was sliding over a bit.
Yeah,
That
do.
far. Yeah.
So when we're defending, all the time with defending, no matter what our formation is when they have the ball, we try to we pick a side and we try to squeeze them down that side. And when we get the ball, we want to open everything up and use the whole width, but really compress them in defence.
Can I ask you a question about the back 3?
Yeah.
When the last time I had played that, I think we used that middle person as a sweeper instead of, and then I think that defensive midfielder was kind of like the extra go-to defender.
Yeah.
More defender rather than defender. They were just kind of like
They sit almost in defensive line.
Yeah, and not pushing up too far forward because you've got enough people in the middle.
Yeah, which is kind of what they were doing anyway.
The opposition.
No, we were.
Oh, we were.
The opposition had a sweeper, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
what I was saying is that I've played with a sweeper in that kind of formation.
Yeah, we can do that.
I don't know if it would benefit us or
Yeah,
because we do have legs. We seem to have legs in the back. I don't know.
yeah, that's the thing is if we've got legs in the back, we should be able to cover it. And the thing is that when we have the ball, we want to press up as a team,
Yeah.
and the whole lot can come up, and then we press quite high. So if we do get there is a counter, we can usually come around and get it back.
Yeah.
The only thing with a sweeper is that sweeper then has to be really, really incredibly good at reading the game.
Yeah.
Because if you sit back, you don't want to sit on dead's lap.
No.
So if you sit back, then all of a sudden a player here and a player here are both on side. So if they get on the wrong side, then that becomes an issue.
I think
that
we
the sweeper
played
has
we
to.
played it tight, but they were never marking anyone because they would just.
Yeah.
If we did get caught out, say like on this right, like on the wings here,
Yeah.
we like this person, like we'd all push over and this person would be, and they got through. This person would be the superhero and
Yeah.
cleared it out or whatever.
Yeah, we don't normally play for the sweep.
No.
No. So the way that we do it is that we all slide along as a team.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
I was just asking.
And yeah, no, that's cool. It's a good question. But it's one of those things that you don't. If this player here has the ball and this person's already marking, you've got to communicate and you've got to sort of slide across and make sure you cover that pass.
Yeah.
All right, you don't. This person can't just go vroom and slide out there because that's going to be a really easy pass into there. But it's really important to move across as a team. Yeah. I think one of the big things we were doing though on Sunday was that our players were coming out like way out of the line and leaving our back line as a two, a defensive 2, rather than defensive 3.
I don't think we.
What's that?
I don't think we came out off that line.
We didn't.
No, at the start we did.
I
I mean, the second half we conceded. I'm just trying to think. I can't remember what the 4th goal was. The 5th goal was scored from out here,
Yeah.
and it was just this big curving looping
Was a little
one.
bit of a fluke,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
right.
that was
Yeah.
unfortunate.
That was
last
like,
one.
that's out
Because
next
her
week.
teammates were like, oh, good try. Oh, it's
Oh,
him.
it's him. Yeah, they were all
Yeah,
surprised.
and it even bounced and
Where
kind of
is it?
skidded really
Yeah.
awkwardly off
Yeah.
the grass. So
And the ball was so wet by then and slippery. It was ridiculous.
yeah, it wasn't pleasant weather to play in, and one of the advantages they had was they could really put their foot through the ball.
Yeah.
That they had no trouble with belting the ball like
No.
sort of 30 yards, no problem at all. Which comes in really handy when you can't really play good football on the ground. So yeah, one of their goals was a ping from out there. That was in the second half. We played a better second half than we did first, even though, you know, we scored a goal in the first half. We didn't score a goal in the second half, and we still conceded 2 goals. I still consider it a better half than what we did the first half.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so it's definitely improvement.
Sydney already had injuries as well in the second half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good 8 minutes. I think you played there, Ali. That was.
Oh, come on.
It was always 10.
And I still washed my uniform.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, we had a lot of things go against us, and we do seem to be carrying a lot of little niggling injuries at the moment. So I'm not taking Sunday to heart, but as long as it doesn't happen again. Won't do it again. Other
So don't
questions?
listen to Dan again.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna. There's certain things that I'll say. So when I say, you know, mark up, if they got 2 strikers, it's the centre one that's going to be marking up one of them all the time.
Yeah.
If there are the strikers, I'll actually mark a marker that works even. If they get one here and one here, then the centre one's still going to be marking. Or if they put them further out, over here and over here, then we'll slide across over there,
Okay.
like that as a team. But if one of them come out of the line and come out here, I don't want our players to follow them out. It's still going to stay as a back.
Yep.
A back 3, like almost like a zonal then.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not man marking. That's very
It's definitely not
important.
man
Yes.
marking. And neither is a 4-4-2. If we play the 4-4-2, that's not man marking
No.
either. The reason why I like this is because both these formations, they require a certain type of defender, and you can't play everyone in there. And my numbers for having that aren't great, and I'm pulling like strikers back into defence areas that where they should be striking. So if we have a back three line, it helps me push like, you know, your Carlys, your Kellys, your Kylies, your Livs, and Helen and all those sorts of players. We can sort of push them up higher and be a bit more of an attacking team. But I mean, the other thing we're going to be able to start doing a bit better too is passing the ball to each other on the ground. There's a fair few times you've got the ball and you say time, and that player with the ball has no one around them. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, bang, tackled. When time is really a chance to look up, maybe take a bit of ground, but look at who can I pass to? Like, where's the best option? Not take heaps of touches until you get tackled. Yeah, and so that's something that we, again, it's been a short pre-season, but we've got to be looking at those passes a lot earlier. Yeah. Any more questions about that so far? No? The 4-4-2, when we talk about these formations, they're kind of like our defensive formation too. When we play a 4-4-2, it's literally just dropping one of these players back into here and having a diamond here in the middle. It's not hugely different. And it also means if they've got one of their players out here, it's not as if we sort of sit there scratching their head going, who takes them? We still start to compress as a team and squeeze them down the line. Or the wing back might come up and do something. But it comes down to more our defensive structure when you're talking about the lineup like that. Nothing's solid. So if you're so I shouldn't be jumping backwards and forwards, but if we're like playing a 3-5-2 when we're on a break, or say I've got, you know, Rosie down here on the left and she's got the ball and she's running into trouble and there's nowhere to go and she turns back, it doesn't mean whoever's in left back here, so it's Valentine, can't come down and be that supporting player. It doesn't mean we're in attack, we're solid with that back three.
Yep.
We can still work for each other. Yeah.
What about the midfield in defensive sense?
Defensive sense in the 3-5-2?
Yes.
Here are we? Bang. So these two, even though they're attacking midfielders, these ones will probably be trying to pick up. They'll probably play with two centre midfielders. So these guys should be picking up a player, with the defensive midfielder sitting just in front of the defensive line, almost like what you were saying before, Juge. So this person here will kind of sit back in between these players and them. And if one of their players get past us, that player picks up, this person pulls into a defensive midfielder. So that's really important too. Like, don't get caught in your head that I'm an attacking midfielder, so I have to sit in front of the defensive midfielder. If you get beaten or your player gets away from you, the first thing you always do is drop back into that defensive line, basically draw a line between you and the goal. So say I'll go back to defence now, but say Valentine, you've come out, they've come into the middle, you've stuffed it for once, right? I know it doesn't happen, but sometimes it might. So now they're on a break over here and they're coming down this way. I don't want you to then start trying to chase that person. You need to communicate with these ones. So say that's Dusty. She's going to slide across here. Say this is Chrissy, she's going to slide across there, because the most important players are the ones with the ball and the ones supporting that player. Mm-hmm. What you would do is you pretty much draw a straight line between you and the goal, and you run back into getting back into that line again. Mm-hmm. And then we get back into our formation again, and you become centre back.
Okay.
That's a really, really important thing, our defensive line. You don't want to be that player trying to just chase down your player. I've played in teams that do that, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the midfielders don't go between those three in the back line, in principle.
You can, like, if your player's going there, and they're all marking, then by all means,
That's what
yeah.
happened on the
I think
weekend.
that's what happened on the weekend.
We ended up with so many players in
Yeah.
the back. And
Yeah.
like, which one do we take?
Yeah. So, I mean, to answer that question, which one do you take? You get the player close to the ball to play with the ball,
Yeah, which
next
you do,
person
but
in,
then
next
when
person
there's
in,
like-
and you leave players out here if they need be, and then we scream at these guys to get back, and they'll come back and cover.
Okay, yeah.
So even though you're not man marking, you're still doing a zone. You still got to recognise, okay, we've got 3 defenders and they've got 5 players up.
Yeah. So yes.
We need to make sure we're player and player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear.
Yeah. So and that goes for whether we're playing. This principle stuff is whether we're playing a 4-4-2 or 3-5-2 or 4-4-3 or whatever. Does that work out? Yeah. No 4-4-2.
No.
No, it doesn't. 4-3-3.
That
I
would
was
be
gonna
great.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just sneak an extra player
Play
on.
4-4-3.
We can play a 4-4.
Yes.
We can play a 4-3-3 as well. Like, there's infinite amount of formation. They're not infinite. There is a. We've got 11 players in the field, so we are restricted somewhat. But these principles go whatever we do. Yeah. Unless we end up playing a team where they've got like one gun player in the team, we go right. You know, Chris, you are going to mark that one player.
Mm.
If they go to the toilet, you go to the toilet. If they go front, you go front. You know, whatever it is.
That would be so weird.
That-
So weird. Hi, do you mind if I just come in?
I've been told to literally mark you.
Just tell me to leave you.
Need some toilet paper?
This would be great YouTube. So yeah, that's kind of that's the basic principles of stuff that we really didn't get to cover. But the big thing is kind of that 3 line has to stick together, and we need to cover each other and work with each other and talk to each other all the time. Yeah, it was actually pretty quiet there on Sunday
It was
at
really
times.
quiet.
Really quiet. Yeah.
I think sometimes I found myself I couldn't figure out who was where because I think we were just chasing our table,
Yeah.
and then I was like, who is in the midfield or who? I knew who the back 3 were obviously because there's only 3 of us, but there was 5 of us in the middle, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know who's with me. And I'm like, who got subbed? Who's at the front? And I was
Yeah.
I think because at that stage, I think we'd had a run at goal, and everyone was kind of still up front, and there was this massive hole in the middle, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm freaking out because they can run.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And any gap is like the chick in the second half. She was just like
The one on the right side or your
like,
side?
She was so quick. And
Yeah.
like in the first half, I had one that was taller than me, took one step and was already overtaking me, and in the second half, I had Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I felt out of my league.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and I knew I was, and I was trying to not think and trying to not put too much pressure on Chris, and I'm like,
But it's the same thing. It's the same principle as this one over here. That if you do get beaten down here,
that's what I tried to do.
That's try to keep them out. But you'll get one of your defenders will probably come out and go, they'll come out.
She did.
They'll all slide, which they do, and hopefully these all players will all slide together and
Yeah.
stay as that close to a line. Like this
Yeah.
player will kind of sit a bit further forwards, and the other two will kind of sit just a little bit behind.
Yeah.
But then your role is then to come back in
Yeah.
that
That's
way
what I
because
wanted to
you've
know.
lost your
I
player by that
feel like-
stage.
I felt like I was already letting the team down by letting my player go, and then next minute I'm like, now I need to find someone else
Yeah.
to make sure that they don't get the ball, and that's when
Yeah.
I noticed that we had this little bit of a hole, and then you just come out of nowhere and go, save the day.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm running away.
But I mean, one thing is to do is to go, okay, well, my player's now been taken by in the defensive
Yeah.
line, so I need to get into help in the defensive line.
Yeah. Okay.
And the same thing, draw that line in between you and the goal, and just run straight back that way until
Yeah.
you get the defensive line.
Yeah.
Watch the ball still. Don't turn your back and just run.
Yeah.
Watch what you're doing, and then look at your body positioning. So open up where the ball is.
Yeah.
Look around, reset, get instructions.
Yeah.
But one thing you said that's actually important too is that we make subs. Generally, I'll sub a person for a person.
Yeah.
So if you know roughly where people are, so if Inga's playing a defensive midfield and I sub her off and put someone else on, so
Yeah.
I took sub Inga off and put Lisa on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll probably notice that she'll go into the same position.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing if you do get subbed off and sub on is to look around, talk to your players and go, hey, I'm defensive midfielder, who's my attacking midfielders? Yeah, you okay,
yeah.
cool.
I think we were just super quiet.
Yeah.
We were super quiet.
Yeah.
Compared to the first game anyway.
Yeah. I could hear myself think out there, it was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
You don't know my thoughts.
I probably don't want to.
No. But attacking wise, this formation works quite well as far as being able to make triangles here, triangles between these ones here and putting balls through that way or vice versa that way. Because if we put a through ball in, we don't want as much as possible balls to be going straight.
Yeah.
You want to put them at angles.
Yeah.
And we've got really, really good attacking options this season. I've got to get defence a bit better sorted, but attacking options, we've got plenty to choose from. I'm not sold on this 3-5-2. We're not set on that. I'm happy to switch back to a 4-4-2. It just means I'm going to have to pull some players out of positions that they would normally play. So I might need to pull a Kell out every now and again, or a Carly out, or there's someone that can run those lines.
Yeah.
You know, I know Valentine can play it, Ali can play it, Chris can play it, Dusty can play it. But if we're going to have that back four, it's just really important to have that right, because if we have, if I go back to the 4-4-2, like that,
Yeah.
if these players break
Yeah.
and then we lose possession,
Yeah.
we'll be up a bit higher, you've got to really be able to trust these two players to stall it enough, plus our defensive midfielder too, to allow these guys to come back into play again. And I said 100 times before, it's just unfortunate having that pre-season to be able to do it and do it again and do it again and do it again. But yeah, that's not out of the question.
What, that formation?
The 4-4-2, it's
No,
not.
no.
The only reason why, I was thinking of getting rid of it is that because I don't know if the person I've got is really fitted for that.
In the back or in the mid?
In the backs, essentially. We don't seem to have any problems here.
Yeah.
Like, we've got plenty of options. We're still going to work a bit harder at our balls to feet and everything, and a bit of our positional play, but we've got stacks of attacking options, stacks and stacks and stacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting this bit here right is really important. Yeah.
But it is easier in the 3-5 to when you attack to use the wings.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
'cause it's
wingers are
standing there.
closer
Yeah.
to where you want
Yeah.
to be in an attack.
Exactly. So, the other thing too is a ball down here is because if they've got three players, or depending on what they've got, a ball over there for that midfielder to, or
It's
that
easier
left
to
is-
reach than it is for
So
fullback.
you had that
Yeah.
scenario in the other formation. Who the midfielder would be, the bolter or the wing?
Probably the winger. You can use the midfielder. But say you're here. Are you playing the right side? So I'll go right side for you.
I don't care.
Say you're here. You're already starting from there, and you're coming down that way.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 4-4-2.
Oh, 4-4-2.
Yeah. Just to
Where am
confuse
I?
you, move your.
Yeah, there we
sideline.
go.
So same scenario. If you had a ball that went through,
You'd
How
probably
you
find
drew
this
it.
player be coming out through.
even though they're so far away from the
Yeah,
ball.
so that's a very hard thing
That's
to
what I'm
do.
saying, yeah.
It's a hard thing to do, and it really relies on these four here to be able to hold the ball up a little bit
Okay.
and give that player a chance
That's
to
what I
break.
can't. That's what I could not understand, because like you said, with the 5-2, the wing is closer to a ball out
Yeah.
wide.
Yeah.
But in that scenario, I could not get around how that poor person at the back has to run.
Yeah.
Well, they
So
can.
far.
No, it is.
They,
You know what
they
I mean?
can.
And
They
I'm like,
can.
please,
Yeah.
Dan, don't ever put me in the back. Just FYI. I mean it.
Just be nice. Yeah.
It's just 100 meter sprints every 10
100 meter
seconds.
sprint. Yeah, fine.
There are other options, right, for that.
Yeah.
So, say this is you, and say this is Chris,
Yeah.
right? So you've got the ball. You know she's going to come out here. Now you might play a ball this way to her,
Yeah.
and then you
Then
might
you
then
run.
make that
Okay.
run, and she might put a ball there, which you might then run onto.
Which we did a lot last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was our play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'd
D-
come to me
depending.
and then I'd kick it up and then that person would be.
Okay.
Or you might even find they might play that, and then this player might make a run that way, and then we move up as a team.
Okay.
So it depends on our build-up play. So if our build-up plays, if we've got
Kick
enough
up
time
there
to...
and then whilst you've got the ball passing to them, I'm running up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's another thing to keep in mind. So if you've passed in to here, Chris has passed that ball there, you've made a run across to here.
That's exactly how I run.
That's your waddle.
It's my waddle when I got an injury.
So you've got the ball here. One of two things will happen. Chris might make a run through that way,
Yeah.
or she might be here to back you up
Yeah.
for you to pass back, and she might either put a cross in or she might put a through ball through, depending on what our options
that
are.
So
halfway line.
that person scored quite a lot.
Which one?
Out wide.
Yeah, last year
Oh, no
Yeah.
pressure,
because.
Just saying.
thanks. Welcome to the team.
Yeah.
Score.
And if you score from there, you get a special blue marker.
I'm a blue mark.
Yeah.
Oh, did I become the favourite? No.
No,
what
that
if
takes
it-
seasons
so
to get a
what-
blue
So
marker.
in that scenario, when let's say that winger was where they put them where they were, like down
Here?
there, further.
Or further.
Yeah, and the other person was that other midfielder on the left, close to your hand. Yeah, put her all the way down, down,
here?
18 yard box. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've all
Say
shipped it up.
for some reason we got beat, and then we lose the ball,
Yeah.
and then everyone's got to like slide in, run. Like what's
We've lost the ball
what
there,
would you,
so
yeah, what would you?
we're
yeah.
up here now. We're all making a bit of a break. These guys are up here.
Yeah.
This wing back, because they're not involved, they probably won't be sitting over here somewhere. They'll probably be sitting somewhere around there,
Yeah.
ready to make a bit of a later run. So we've lost the ball there.
Yeah.
You'd go do your run back that way,
Okay.
you know. Or depending on how fast they're moving, you do the same sort of things we talked about before. Draw a line between you and the goal, and you
Yeah.
run back until you can kind of get either with your player
Okay.
back in position or whatever. You'll probably find that these two backs will start to slide across to
Yeah.
compress them, and this wing back will make a run straight back in that way.
Okay.
Chrissy won't be running down the sideline until she's back in the line and have a line like this. She'll run back into that
Okay.
defensive line again.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know. I didn't know what the worst case. Like it's all fine and dandy for us to attack and score. What happens on the flip side when the ball gets stolen off us or we lose?
Yeah.
It or...
There'll be times when we will be caught out, and we'll
Yeah,
do some
yeah.
stuff in training too, where we might even do, like, rather than just doing a straight game of 5 versus 5, or depending on what the train numbers are.
Yeah.
I'll often do a training session where I'll hand out like 3 orange bibs, and it might be a 3 versus 7.
Yeah.
And you guys just have to work out how to do like a zonal defense.
Yeah.
And do exactly what we talked about. So, you know, the player closest to the ball goes in and closes down that player,
Yeah.
and then the other 2 players kind of tuck in a little bit behind
Yeah.
to cover the other 2 players. And then when they pass the ball out, that player might move in, then we tuck into that line again and defend as a zone.
That makes more sense. It just makes more sense now.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad. Anything else with the 4-4-2 or the 3-5-2?
I think I've asked all my questions.
Clear?
Clear as mud.
Clear as mud.
Yeah.
The sticky kind.
I can't think of anything else I need to add right now. Anyone, anything?
Question.
Yes.
I do like the way you do it. Why don't you play the midfield in a straight line as well? Why do you do the diamond?
It owns the centre midfield,
Okay.
right? And it also allows, if we're going to play wing back, if you play like this, it means that you're kind of filling that channel
Mm-hmm.
with a player already there.
Makes sense.
Whereas a diamond, it really, we generally own this. This is our zone. No one gets through our midfield, even though they did on Sunday.
Oh, we didn't play.
We weren't
play
playing
that.
this. We weren't playing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So no one should come charging through our midfield because we've got 4 players in there. It is a little bit compressed at times.
Yeah.
But it means we know that there's going to be space out there for those wingers to move into.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, and look, as a midfielder.
Oh,
So-
wait, I do have another question.
Okay, hold it for a sec.
Okay.
Say as a midfielder, just put your hand up.
I know, but I'll forget anyway.
Um,
You've forgotten now, sorry.
no, I haven't. I'm just trying to think of. I'll remember. As a midfielder, say Chris has the ball here, you don't have to stay parked in here
Yeah.
as an inside option. You could make a run that way to have an option there, and you'll probably find the defensive midfielder give that option there.
Yeah.
You know, so, and you might if Chris passes you that ball there, she might make a pass and then do a run around, and you might then turn out and give her a ball back, do like a 1-2 or something.
Okay.
But yeah, generally speaking, when we talk about these formations, we're kind of talking about defensive formation. So that's kind of how we set.
Yeah.
And then we break out from there. Yeah. Juge, before you forget.
Forgot, no, just kidding. So I nearly did. So in the sense we play that formation.
Yeah.
And the sides, because I think in the Mossman game, I felt like, well, I kind of felt lost because I was so used to being so close to the line. But
Yeah.
it was really open there, and
Yeah.
No one passed it in. We didn't use the.
we
No.
didn't know.
No,
But
we
I'm just
didn't touch the
saying,
ball.
if they play up the lines because they're like, oh, they've got no one out there.
Yeah.
What is it?
That's
Is it the
perfect. They're falling right into our trap.
Yeah. Okay. So is it that little diamond bit there? So like if they get a ball, say here, like let's just say they get it here.
Yep.
Is it this person? Is it this person here? Is it the wing backs that come out? That I don't want to be in someone's way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Everyone compresses.
Okay.
As a team, we all come across and we all slide along, and we all compress.
Yeah.
Everyone does.
Okay.
And they get trapped down there.
Okay.
And then we get possession.
Into the trap.
That's exactly what we want them to
Okay.
do. So, in hindsight, that could have been
Down the middle.
Yeah.
yeah. So in hindsight, that could have been a really good thing that we could have done. But look, when we're down sort of 3-0, there was no real point. And it was like, okay, I want to just. I know it's not going to end up being the best result in the world, but I really want to see how we go with this, because
Yeah.
Sunday's the 3-5-2 was supposed to be all about the attack, to see how effective we could attack out of that.
Yeah.
Especially because I know they played a sweeper.
Yeah.
I know the sweeper, so it was a bit of a chance to.
She's like,
Did you say who doesn't?
who doesn't know selfie? Who doesn't know selfie? She's played like everywhere.
But I knew they would play with a sweeper, and I thought having those 4 players that we could really work triangles off,
Yeah.
was going to hopefully punish them for having a sweeper.
Yeah.
Because I was hoping that would keep us on side, and then we
Yeah.
could just press and make use of it. But yeah, once we were down 3-0, it was just a matter of
I know.
just trying it, you know, and especially because their goalkeeper was very average.
Yeah.
So I thought that would give us a chance to get some shots on target and everything, and really test her out. But we didn't get to do that.
No.
So
So we may go back to this formation.
yeah, so far from a 3-5-2 scenario, we didn't really execute that very well, even though we didn't have much of a chance to do it.
We could always go back to that, like if we.
I
Like,
thought
half
is
time.
because we've done this traditionally and it's worked quite well, is to start with this.
Yeah.
Particularly we don't get a chance to play tomorrow night against Forest, because that'll be, I know that's going to be a different game.
Yeah.
BTH, I spoke to the girls from Pittwater, and they said they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. So I anticipate them to be somewhere between Pittwater and Mossman. Right? So I think that at the moment my thoughts are to maybe switch back to here, go back to our 4-4-2,
Yeah.
see if we can get a goal or 2 on them, and then try to switch it up and play a 3-5-2 to see how we
Yeah,
can go in the attacking sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to be mindful of players and what they're used to and what they're good at, and I said it on Sunday, and I said it a few other times as well, is that I don't want to have a player who's scoring 2 goals in all H1s then playing in our back line.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Carly, I'm sure she'll get to watch this when it goes up on video and everything, but you know, she might be a great candidate to be able to drop back. She'd actually say to me, look, I'll have a go at it if you want. So if I can sort of change those players around and give everyone a bit of a chance to do it, that might be another option. But yeah, I don't want to be playing attackers in the defensive line because I can imagine that would be pretty frustrating, and attackers want to put balls in the back of the net. They don't want to be doing that sort of stuff. So yeah, thought is maybe start like this on Sunday if we get to play, and then switch into a 3-5-2 if we can get a bit of a buffer behind us.
Cool.
Yeah. Questions?
Oh no, I was just going to say, what you want to stop it.
Is my memory full? Yeah, maybe stop it now.
Well, it's 45 minutes. So